Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome for today's class. We'll quickly start. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurum militam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So, dear devotees, welcome for this session. And we are just on the verge of completing the book. So, let's move ahead. Okay. So, we're going to we'll try to complete chapter 16 and 17. I'm a little doubtful that we might complete. But if not, then we'll carry forward on the next session. Okay. So, Srimati Radharani is the most benevolent, tender heart, feminine counterpart of Krishna, and she is not different from him. And she is so great that if anyone renders even a small service to Lord Krishna, then she considers that person a very great devotee than herself. Although no one can excel her in serving Krishna, but she recommends that here is a very nice devotee, please accept this particular devotee. Why? Because she has this beautiful quality of non-enviousness. And because she is not envious towards any living entity, she feels whatever menial service any devotee is rendering, that person is better than me. If anybody is trying to please Krishna, if anybody is trying to serve Krishna and dedicate his life and soul, she thinks that this particular devotee is a better person than me. Imagine the highest form of Madhurya Bhav which Srimati Radharani has, and nobody can excel her in serving Krishna, yet the supreme servitor is thinking that that particular devotee is greater than her. Now, what is her humility? And this only humility actually attracts Krishna. This is the thing that attracts Krishna the most about Srimati Radharani, that she thinks that everybody else is better than me. So, this humility, if somebody carries, then he can attract the grace of Krishna very easily. So, Shri Shukdev Goswami says in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that a learned sage looks equally on a learned and a gentle Brahmana, a Chandala, a dog eater, a dog or a cow due to his spiritual vision. This is Shlok is Vidya Vinayana Sampanne. विद्या विनयन संपन्ने ब्राह्मणे गवि हस्तिनि शुनि चेव स्वपाके च पंडित समदर्शिनः. So Srila Shukdev Goswami had attained that particular stage where he did not distinguish, he did not see a male or a female. He saw all living entities in different dresses. The ladies who were bathing could understand the mind of a man simply by studying the demeanor. Just as by looking at a child, one can understand how innocent he is. See, women can understand the mind of a man more than the man can understand his own mind. Even if a woman is walking on the road and somebody is having a dirty eye on or a wrong eye on the woman, so from behind also, even if he's watching her from behind also, she can very much understand that somebody is watching over me from behind. That is the power of women that they have. And just by the looking at the eyes of a man, the woman can understand that whether this person is a lusty person or whether this person has he has this innocence, or he does not have anything against me, for me, or any other desire, right? So if you see, Shukdev Goswami was a very young boy, 16-year-old, and therefore all the parts of his body were developed. He was naked also, and so were the ladies. But because Shukdev Goswami was transcendental to sex relations, what does it mean to be transcendental to sex relations? Which means that there is no desire as such for sex relations. There is no lust in that particular person to enjoy the other person. There is only the service attitude is there. Either it is neutral or there it is service attitude is there towards that particular person, which means that to become transcendental to sex relations means to rise above the three modes of material nature and reach to the Shuddha Sattva level. The way he looked at them was very innocent and had nothing to do with the worldly affairs. The ladies, by their special qualification, could sense this. See, the ladies, by their special qualification. Now, the ladies could know, the ladies could sense it, and could sense this at once, and therefore they were not very concerned about him. And they kept on, whatever activity they were doing in that particular pond, they were doing. But as soon as Vyasdev came in, they immediately covered, you know, themselves. See, that doesn't mean that Vyasdev was lusty or something like that. It is just out of due respect, because Vyasdev could discriminate. But Shukdev Goswami thought that everybody, that spiritual vision is such that you are seeing the Paramatma in every person's heart. If you see in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is writing to that poet in the Bhagavad Gita, that uh, a Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between different people, Brahmana, Shudra, Vaishya, or does not make any distinction between any species also, like, oh, he's an elephant and she's just an ant, and he's more powerful and she's not at all powerful. He does not make that particular distinction also. And why? Because if you see that Prabhupada says that these differences of this body are very much meaningless. They don't have any meaning. If somebody who's a very learned person, then it is meaningless for him. And why? Because Srila Shukdev Goswami, or this particular learned Brahmana, he has a very deep and a very, what do you say, hmm, very personal connection with Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is present in everybody's heart, in every living entity's heart. And that is why uh, this transcendentalist, he really knows, the pure devotee knows that there is no difference between the Paramatma in the heart and Krishna, who is there outside also. So that is why he is very much uh, equal to everybody, just as the Lord is also very equal and kind to every living entity. And Krishna treats everybody as his own friend, Samaham Sarvabhuteshu, and that is why this particular person does not make any distinction. But now, if you see, that anybody who's making a distinction that high, low, or black, white, or learned or not learned, right? So, which means that still this person does not have full knowledge. Only after person has full knowledge, and who is that full knowledgeable person? A Krishna conscious person is a full knowledgeable person, and therefore he is truly learned, and he has that spiritual vision to not distinguish between different species or different living entities. And mm, he is conscious. Um, uh, he is why he is not able to do this, because this Krishna conscious person is Sat Chid Ananda. Sat means, eternity. He is conscious. Um, Chit means full of knowledge, and Ananda means blissful. So, this Krishna conscious person knows that all these living entities that are there, they are just having an outward dress. But ultimately, the soul is always pure. The soul is always connected to Krishna. Right now, he has forgotten Krishna, and that is why he is behaving as such, right? So, that way. In the great assembly of the personalities, there was Vyasadeva and the Brahma Rishi, the Narada, and who else was there? And the Deva Rishi, Parshuram, the great ruler of the Kshatriya kings, etc. Some of them were powerful incarnations of the Lord. And Shukdev Goswami was not known as a Brahma Rishi, Raja Rishi, or a Deva Rishi also. Nor was he an incarnation like Narada, Vyasa, or Parshuram. And yet he excelled them in respects paid. Now, we also know that when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed and he came on the bank of the Ganges, automatically from all parts of the world, in those days there were no communication as such, that okay, now the king is going to die within 7 days, and now he's going to go on the bank of the Ganges. Automatically you can say, by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, everything was arranged. All the great kings, the Raja Rishis, the Brahma Rishis, the Deva Rishis, the Gyanis, the Karmis, the Hatha Yogis, the Dhyana Yogis, everybody actually came in that assembly. And in that assembly, they chose Srila Sukdev Goswami to actually be the speaker for Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, somebody might question that, oh, Vyasdev was also there. Why didn't they actually request Vyasdev? But uh, sometimes in the assembly of big stalwarts also, there can be a person who is younger, but he has more realizations as such. And he's known for his realizations. Right? Even though Narada also, of course, is far more, in respects greater than Srila Shukdev Goswami or Vyasadeva, or even Parshuram, who is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord himself. But yet, Shukdev Goswami excelled them in respects. But Chaitanya experienced deep loving emotions for Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Okay, give me just 1 minute, okay? Okay. In the Anubhasha, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur comments, the gopis are purely engaged in the service of the Lord without motive. They are not captivated by the opulence of Krishna, nor by understanding that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. So see, uh, he is not thinking, uh, the gopis were not thinking that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and that is why I should be worshipping him. That is not the gopis' mode. They never knew only that Krishna is the supreme Lord. If they would know, then where is that charm left, right? So that's why they did not think Krishna as the supreme. They just naturally loved him. as such. So give me a minute. I just have one explanation on this part. Give me a minute, okay? Okay. Krishna was not attracted by any opulence or personal beauty of the gopis, but by their pure devotional service. Similarly, the gopis were attracted to Krishna as a cowherd boy and not in a sophisticated guise. Gopis did not think, okay, if he comes in a garb of a king, then only we'll love him. No. Lord Krishna is inconceivable. To understand him, great yogis and saints persons give up all material engagements and meditate upon him. The gopis are not interested in dry speculation, right? Gyanis, in the arts, in music, or other conditions of material life. They are bereft of all understanding of material enjoyment and renunciation. Their only desire is to see Krishna return and enjoy spiritual transcendental pastimes with them. The gopis want him simply to stay in Vrindavan so that they can render service unto him for his pleasure. They are not even a tinge of personal sense gratification. See, when somebody loves somebody, then there should not be an exchange of give and take. So it is, if you see, gopis' love is one sided in the sense that they only are want to serve Krishna or they just want to please Krishna. In return, they are not expecting anything or any enjoyment also from Krishna. See, in material relationships, we think, no, okay, if a girl and a boy get married, the girl thinks that, he will give me this and he will give me a secure shelter and house and, vehicle and, jewelry and luxury and everything. And the boy thinks that, okay, she's come to my house, she'll take good care of my parents and my family members, and she'll take good care of my children and house and everything. So there are some basic expectations each other have. But in the case of gopis and Krishna, neither Krishna has any expectation from the gopis, and neither the gopis have any expectation from Krishna that if we will please Krishna, then in return, Krishna should also do this for us. There is no expectation as such, and expectations only lead to frustrations. That we know, if you expect something from a person and he does not give, then kamesha krodesha rajoguna samudbhava. So kam means expectation or desires, right? So then only somebody will get angry. But when you don't have any expectation, I will just keep on serving Krishna without any expectation. This is a very good, learning for us also. That in our daily relations also, yeah, in our house or in friend circle or in our relatives also, we should try our best to serve, our relatives or family members or friends and not expect anything in return. Then if we expect something anything in return, which means that we are a merchant, like Prahlad Maharaj says, oh Lord Narshing Dev, you're asking me that, okay, ask a boon, but I'm not a merchant over here, I'm not a baniya over here, that I did something for you and in return I should take something from you. And then Lord Narshing Dev is insisting, you please ask, 2 3 times he insisted. But then Prahlad Maharaj says, okay, if ever you want to give me something, Give me the association of your devotees, because so far I have been bereft of the association of your devotees. Only by the association of Srila Narada Muni I was able to reach till this stage. But please put me in the association of your devotee. Even Dhruv Maharaj also asked the same thing. So somebody might question this also, that why this association is so important. Because in the association of pure devotees, we catch the mood of the pure devotee. The pure devotees are very selfless. And because they are very selfless, that same quality of selflessness gets transformed or transferred into our consciousness. So when we are hearing the Vani also for pure devotee, so we catch his mood. So far, if you see, in our line of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we have caught the mood of the Acharyas, right? We means, whoever is in line right now, or Prabhupada disciples are there, or the disciples of Prabhupada, or disciples of Prabhupada, like that. Everybody has caught that mood, that selfless service only is the key. If I will remain selfish, that what will I get, then that's not going to work out. Only selflessness is going to work out. Selfishness is not going to work out. And even in the spiritual world, there is no selfishness. There is only selflessness. The so-called selfishness may seem, but hidden inside is selflessness only for Krishna. So when the pure devotees, they are actually, giving us some class, or they are telling something about Krishna. So what are they doing is, whatever selflessness they have. So, why is Prabhupada saying, no, Vani is more important than Vapu? Why hearing is more important from the, pure souls is that when the pure souls, they have this quality of selflessness. Now, when we hear their Vani, we are actually catching, radio waves that are there, huh? So when radio waves are, then when somebody is catching those radio waves, then he's able to see on his television, whatever the scene is going on in different channels. Similarly, when a pure devotee speaks, the hearers are catching those radio waves through their consciousness. And when they are catching those radio waves, or the mood or the bhava of the speaker, right? Then that same selfless bhav is transferred from the speaker to the hearer. That selflessness is there. And that is why Vani of the spiritual master is more important. Because when, of course, physical service is also important, but I'm not saying, but Vani is more important, because Vapu may go away, but Vani is so strong that Vani will keep on Vani will keep on, sorry, the Vani will remain, and the Vani will keep on guiding us all the time. Daily, when somebody is hearing his spiritual master, because the spiritual masters will be anywhere in the world. They may be in, Belgium, they may be in UK, America, anywhere they may be, right? But the Vani is so powerful that as soon as you hear the Vani of your spiritual master, immediately, you are associating. That is why Prabhupada says anybody who's reading my books is actually associating with me only. Why? Because it is Vani, because Prabhupada has dictated that and in his voice. And then it has been, printed. These books have been printed. So Vani is very important. And when the hearer is actually hearing from the speaker, as I many times tell this also, that the pure devotees are meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna. I don't have access to the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna. But when the pure devotees, they meditate on the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna, or when they are meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna, they are picking up that dust of the lotus feet of Krishna, and they are smearing over the hearers through their words. Through their words, they are smearing the dust. Now imagine somebody getting the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna through a pure devotee. What is that state? It's a transcendental state. You can just imagine, right? The other day, somebody was just talking to me that Loknath Maharaj जो है वो थोड़ा धीमे धीमे जाते हैं. Just go. He actually gives classes very slowly. He says, it becomes very boring for me, Mataji, to hear his class. Very openly, she spoke to me actually. So how can I understand this? Because I don't have the patience. I am in completely mode of passion. I like, people who speak fast, so I'm able to understand. So I said, hey, don't say like that. He said, when pure devotees are giving a class, and if they are describing some Leela or pastime of the Lord, actually they have entered that particular pastime. They are meditating on that particular pastime. And when they speak that particular pastime, then they are smearing the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna on us. On my own, ekaki ama nahi mama bal. On my own, I don't have the strength to even see the tip of the toe also of Krishna. But here is a pure devotee who through his kirtans, through his words, he is smearing that dust freely on us. So that much patience at least we should have. And I told her that why is this happening with us is because we are too much in mode of passion. So what should we do? We should at least try to come to the mode of goodness. Because somebody who's in the mode of passion, only passion will attract that person, right? So I said, you try to rise to his level, right? Don't try to get down to somebody's level. You rise to his level and you try to understand that how will you understand or absorb every word that he is speaking from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And that will purify you and take you ahead in Krishna consciousness. So then she understood, है ना? Okay, let's go ahead. Definition of spontaneous devotion in practice. So when you say spontaneous devotion means only Raganuga Bhakti. As mentioned in the beginning of the 15th chapter, because we are on the 16th chapter, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti is an advanced practice intended to cultivate the service mood of an eternally perfect resident of Vrindavan. Okay. So see, what is Ragatmika Bhakti and what is Raganuga Bhakti? Let's understand this concept, okay? So when I say Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti means what? That I am a sadhaka, right? And I am trying to follow somebody in Braj, right? I'm trying to follow maybe Mother Yashoda or Nanda Maharaj or Subala or any of the Gopas or any of the Gopis or Manjaris, right? I'm trying to uh, follow the service mood that these eternal associates of Krishna have. So let's say example, we just take somebody from our group only, okay, who is there. We'll take one male and one female, okay? Okay. Let's take Shubhangi, okay? So Shubhangi wants to follow Mother Yashoda. So currently Shubhangi is in Vedi Sadhana Bhakti. And she thinks that, she's in the mood that Krishna is my little child. So how does Mother Yashoda take good care of Lala, Krishna, when he was very small and infant? So now Shubhangi will dig out. Okay, what is Mother Yashoda's mood? How does she take care of Krishna? how does she take care of every details of Krishna, right from waking up to making him go to sleep, and even after he sleeps, the next day morning schedule kya rahega. So now, when she is following Mother Yashoda, who's already a Ragatmika Bhakta. Mother Yashoda is a perfect resident of Vrindavan, eternally perfect resident of Vrindavan, who is a Ragatmika Bhakta. Rag means spontaneous. And Atmika means what? She has given her Atma to Krishna. Her whole soul, life, existence is only for Krishna. Now, when she is, cultivating the mood of Mother Yashoda, trying to cultivate, of course, right? So then that is called a Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. And when can Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti be practiced? It can be only practiced, uh, of course, from the stage of faith, Adau Shraddha, तथा sadhu sanga, तथा bhajan kriya, तथा anartha nivritti. Right. So Raganuga sadhana bhakti starts, the initial stage is actually Adau Shraddha. It starts from there only. But from where will it pick up? Right? When you have a airplane, it is on a runway, okay? And it actually runs some distance and then it takes off. So how, from which point will Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti take off? Only after the point of Anartha Nivritti. It will take off, right? Then somebody can practice Nishtha and Raganuga Bhakti together. Asakti and Raganuga Bhakti together. The train goes parallel. This process goes parallelly. Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav and Prem all go parallel. And till the time this person does not, or she does not, or Shubhangi does not perfect it till the Prema level, right? It's because in Vatsyala Ras also there is highest Prema for Krishna. Till the time she does not reach till that particular point, she is into Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. Then somebody might ask, okay, what about females then? Then let's take, males then. Like, okay. So let's take one more example of a male over here. Let's take Mahendra Prabhu, okay? So now this is, I'm just talking from female to female because females will be able to identify females more better and males will be able to identify males more better. Okay, so Mahendra Prabhu actually is in a lot of friendship with Krishna. He thinks Krishna is my friend and Krishna is my well-wisher and Krishna can understand me very nicely. So he will try to follow a particular Gopa who is an eternally perfected resident of Vrindavan. Like say Subal Sakha. He'll try to understand the mood. What is Subal Sakha's mood for Krishna? Is he in parental love or is he in dasya love? Because even if somebody is a friend, still there can be a paternal love for Krishna also. Like for example, some elderly gopas of Krishna who are like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years elderly to Krishna, they had a paternal, that they had a fatherly affection or an elderly affection for Krishna. Okay. And then Mahendra Prabhu will try to uh, act in such a way or uh, have his mood towards Subal Sakha in such a way that what is his mood for Krishna. What does Subal Sakha, try to do for Krishna? How does he defend Krishna? How does he, reprimand Krishna? How does he, take care of Krishna? Every minute details while playing, while eating tiffin, or if, they are in they're in a precarious situation, then what they will do. So all these modes that are there of serving Krishna somehow or the other, you know, Subal Sakha carries. And that same mode, if Mahendra Prabhu carries, then he becomes a Ragatmika. He's into, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. Staying in this material world, unaffected by the material sense enjoyment, trying to only satisfy the senses of Krishna, then that becomes a Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, is an advanced practice, right? So, what is the eligibility or prerequisite for this Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti? So, the basic qualification for spontaneous devotion in practice is a very strong desire to serve Krishna in a specific relationship. It could be Vatsalya Bhav, it could be Dasya Bhav, it could be Madhurya Bhav, it could be Shante Bhav, but primarily all these five primary rasas, they carry one thing in common, that is Dasya Bhav. Even Madhurya Bhav carries Dasya Bhav, even Vatsalya Bhav carries Dasya Bhav, even Sakhya Ras carries Dasya Bhav only. So, to start with, for us, we should start with Dasya Bhav. I am the eternal servant of Krishna, birth after birth after birth. So, I want to serve Krishna and I am his servant, and the servant's pleasure is only the master's pleasure. The servant will be pleased only when the master is pleased. So, there is a give and take relationship between the master and the servant. One can obtain this desire by hearing how eternal residents of Vrindavan spontaneously serve Krishna in various loving modes. So now again, Shravanam. Jitna hum Shravanam karenge, um, the more we do Shravanam, 5 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, if we keep on doing Shravanam, then we will obtain that desire. हमारा problem यही है कि we have still not developed that desire, है ना, for serving Krishna in a particular mood. Now, how will that desire be invoked? That desire will be invoked only by doing strong Shravanam. After doing Shravanam, you do Mananam, contemplation. And with the Dhyasanam, then you practice. Right? Say, for example, you have heard in the lecture that, we should read Srila Prabhupada's books daily. Okay. So now you contemplate, okay, um how will I read Srila Prabhupada's books at least 1 hour a day? Okay, let me start with 5 minutes a day. Let me start with 10 minutes a day. And that's how you chalk out your plan for the day, right? So you're contemplating. And then whatever you have read from Srila Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada said this, we should be doing this, we should not be doing prajalpa. Then you are doing abhyasa, nididhyasanam. You are practicing what you have heard, what you have read. And you make a list that from today onwards, I'm not going to do this. From today onwards, I'm going to do this. That's called actually, abhyasam, practice. Now, once you start this sadhana bhakti practice, that is going to naturally lead you, because all the time we are hearing only about one person who's the most attractive, who's the most magnanimous, most merciful, most tolerant, most humble, and 64 qualities of Krishna. We are all the time we are hearing. So it is very natural that we will have this desire. I want to serve this person here who is so magnanimous, who's so udar, who's so, in the mood of giving, who's bhoktaram yagna tapasam, he's sarvaloka maheshwaram, he's surid, he's the ever well-fishing friend of every living entity. Why should not I serve this person selflessly? And he's not expecting anything in return from me. From time immemorial, he has been only supplying me, supplying me, supplying me. And in return, he has never ever asked even a pin from me. Why should I not serve? So, these desires keep on, mm, coming in our consciousness when we are hearing. And these desires are very positive desires that we actually uh, obtain when we are hearing Srila Prabhupada's Vani or our spiritual master's Vani or some pure devotee's Vani. That desire we don't have. We are Kangal. Ami to Kangal Krishna Krishna boliya dhai tava pache pache. I don't have that desire. Please, Krishna, help me. I want to run behind these pure devotees who have the desire, the selfless desire to serve you. I want that desire. I want to serve you selflessly. Now, with this desire, we should be hearing that I want to selflessly serve Krishna. Somewhere we should engrave it into our consciousness or write it onto a board. I want to serve Krishna selflessly and keep on hearing lectures day in and day out. See, when we make that practice, no, it becomes a part of our existence. Now you cannot live without hearing. Like, for example, I'll tell you my mother, my mother, she hears classes 6 hours in a day and she keeps on making notes also. 6 hours she'll keep on hearing and she will keep on making notes. And many times it becomes a big problem for me. So many books she has written, the lectures and all, and now where to store. So when she's not in the she's not in the house, she will whether she's in Vrindavan or she's gone somewhere, I will pick up some book because she doesn't know no, where she's written. It's old age now, 76 she is. So उसको पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि what she's written. Some of her books where she's made some very special notes, that I know that she's made very special notes and she's underlined them and she's red marked them and she's highlighted in it. Those books will not touch. But some, so she has this habit of making rough to fair also. She will make a rough, book, and from the rough book, then the next day she'll make it fair also, somehow or the other. So she'll say, no, first I'll write in rough book and then make it fair. Then she'll keep on underlining all these, things she'll keep on doing. And her this habit is not after coming into Krishna consciousness. She has this habit right from her childhood because in those days, she was telling me that evening means only satsang. Evening means after you finish your dinner at 7 o'clock, means only you go to a particular satsang and you hear, Ramayana and, Mahabharat stories. That was the only, entertainment for them because there was not too much of light also. And of course, she was staying in a good city of Ahmedabad, but still in those days, the trend was not so much. And Ahmedabad had not still developed. It only developed after Modi ji became the chief minister. So she has this habit right from childhood. She keeps on writing. I think she told me that it was, I think, at the age of 7 or 8, she started writing. And whatever she used to write, she says, I used to write even 2 sentences and 10 sentences also, whatever I used to feel like writing. And all those lectures were in Gujarati language. So when you have this desire that, no, I want to hear about Krishna, I want to hear more about his beautiful qualities, then that desire will develop, that selfless desire will develop in a particular person to serve Krishna in a different mood. Mood means Vatsalya Bhav, Dasya Bhav, Sakhya Bhav, or Madhurya Bhav, that way. Okay. Now somebody might question, when does that eligibility manifest? So the answer is lobha, greed. This strong desire, technically called as lobha or greed, is the singular overwhelming desire in one's heart to please Lord Krishna in a particular way. If any other desire shares the heart's intention, one does not fully possess lobha. Therefore, one does not obtain lobha, greed, until he has removed the unwanted material desires from the heart, the anarthas. Generally, this means one must be past the stage of anartha nivritti. So anarthas come why? Because we have strong desires. And to fulfill those desires, then we sometimes, become angry, we are greedy. Greed is spiritual also and material also, right? So what is the spiritual greed? That I want to serve Krishna, right? That is the spiritual greed or the strong desire that is there. Generally, this means one must be past the strong stage of anartha nivritti. We must always remember, however, that such eagerness to follow in the footsteps of the denizens of Raja is not possible unless one is freed from material contamination. Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhava. Kam, Krodh, Mad, Moh, Lobh, Matsar. These are all material contaminations because they are averse to devotional service. In following the regulative principles of devotional service, there is a stage called anartha nivritti, which means the disappearance of all material contamination. एक दूषित मन से, with a दूषित means what? With an impure mind, how is it possible that we'll serve Krishna? We will serve Krishna with a pure mind. Of course, initially we might have something, but still we keep on, serving, we keep on chanting. Even if I am, like for the cure for jaundice is sugar candy, right? Or if a glass is filled with dirty mud water, but the clean water only will be the solution. There is no other solution for cleansing it. So Harinam is only the solution for cleansing this material contamination that is there in my heart. And as and when I keep on uttering the name of the holy names of Krishna, I will be purified of this material contamination. Whenever I am hearing, see, when a newly married girl, or even if she's engaged, okay, the moment she hears her husband's name, immediately her whole body is electrified. एक बिजली सी चमक जाती है कि who uttered my my lover's name or my husband's name, or who's glorifying my husband's name. Let me put a ear. There is something she said good about my husband. Or when she even gets married and the mother-in-law is glorifying her husband, some good qualities she's mentioning about her husband, she feels immense happiness when she is hearing her husband's good qualities. So, as I always say, that uh, as I always say, that what I always say, हाँ, मतिर कृष्णा, अगर हमारा मन कृष्णा में होगा तो हमारी गतिर भी कृष्णा, means our speed also will be towards Krishna. And why are these two things towards Krishna? Because patir Krishna, our husband is only Krishna, eternal husband or master is Krishna. And that is why our minds should run towards Krishna all the time. As in when we, now we'll come to Bhava Bhakti, we'll know more qualities that how we should run our mind towards Krishna. Okay. So, Raganubhaga Bhakti is above regulation. Now somebody may say, oh wow, I don't have to, follow rules and regulations. So nice. But let's see. These Raganuga devotees do not follow the regulative principles of devotional service very strictly. But by spontaneous nature, they become attracted to some of the eternal devotees, such as Nanda or Yashoda, and try to follow in their footsteps spontaneously. But somebody might ask them, then why did Prabhupada give us rules and regulations? He gave us four regulative principles, and he gave us so many other, do's and don'ts and all. And Shastras also, Nectar of Devotion is also giving us so much of do's and so much of don'ts? Why is the Shastras giving us so many rules and regulations, do's and don'ts? So see, the do's are taking us towards Krishna. And the don'ts, which are not healthy, which are restricted, don't do this, they are also taking us towards Krishna. You wonder, "Why, what do you mean, Mataji? Do's and don'ts both are taking, don'ts means they are taking, something should be there, no? But the don'ts are actually when we don't follow the don'ts. Like for example, when Prabhupada said that no meat eating, okay, which means it is a don't, right? Now, if I don't eat meat, then which quality am I imbibing? The quality of mercy, the quality of compassion. Till the time I don't stop me eating meat, how will I develop compassion for every living entity who's a part and parcel of Krishna? How will I even develop that compassion uh, towards Krishna also? Because Mother Yashoda has the highest compassion for Krishna. Nanda Maharaj has highest compassion for Krishna. Right? Daya Bhavana jisko bolte hain, oh my sweetie, sweetie little child, he's fallen down. Imagine a person does not have compassion. Krishna has fallen on the ground. He was running and all of a sudden he fell down. And I don't have compassion. So I won't react. I won't have any feelings only towards Krishna. Yeah, he is fallen now. But see, opposite to that, Mother Yashoda has the highest compassion for Krishna, Daya Bhavna. So as soon as Krishna is running and he falls down, your heart misses a beat. Oh my Lalla, he's fallen down. What happened? Immediately she goes and she picks him up. And she caresses him and she gives him puppy jhappi and everything, and then the child keeps quiet. You all must have seen in your own lives also that if you try to caress the child, then he feels very secure. And that is why the don'ts have been given, so that uh, we come out of our material contamination. So uh, compassion ka opposite is hard-heartedness. And till the time I'm a hard-hearted person, I won't have feelings for Krishna at all. Those loving feelings for Krishna will never arise in my life. So that is why the don'ts are there. There are so many don'ts. Uh, don't enter the temple without having a bath. Why? Because when I have not had a bath in the morning, I am in Tamogun. And in Tamogun, I won't appreciate the Lord. I won't appreciate his beauty. In Tamogun, I won't appreciate that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Tamogun pulls us down, does not take us up. So all these, subtle points that are given of the don'ts now, which are actually healthy for us, because from time immemorial we have developed so many bad habits of not being clean internally and externally. So now through the Shastras, it is helping us to go more towards Krishna, right? So that way. This does not mean that Raganuga Bhakta neglects the regulative principles. Like if you see, yesterday I was seeing one very nice animation of Jaydev Goswami. And Mother Ganga comes in his dream and she tells him, you become very old now. Why you want to come till Ganga? You just stay at your home and, you just meditate on me and automatically you will have a bath in your mind only. But still, he does not agree. He says, no, I'll still go to the Ganga and have a bath. And he did not agree. So he still is following the rules and regulative in spite of being a very pure devotee of the Lord. Then again, Mother Ganga comes in his dream and she says that there is a pond near your house, and whenever you see that there are lotuses blooming in that pond, you should understand that I am personally present over there. Then Jaydev Goswami, actually agrees, and he goes to that pond, and then he sees many, lotuses are there. He understands that Mother Ganga is over there as such. So still he wants to follow. He's on the Raganuga platform. He's reached that stage. But still, the do's and don'ts that are there still follow. Sanatan Goswami also, if you see, he didn't want to actually, stop his parikrama of Govardhan. At last, Krishna had to personally come and tell him that you please circumambulate this stone, which is marked with my, lotus feet and the flute. And then, Sanatan Goswami started circumambulating. All these Raganuga, Yoga, Ragatmika Bhaktas also, when they come down, these are all eternal associates of Krishna. They also are not neglecting the regulative principles. See, when we say regulative principles means what? That these principles are regulating my mind. To regulate means to put you in a frame to push you towards Krishna. Just for example, you have seen horses running in a race, right? What is that place called? Where they actually the horses run for that competition. What is that called? Race course. Uh, So in a race course, when the horses are running, what is happening is the lanes are there, but these all horses have got blinkers, so that any male horse or female horse does not get attracted to each other. And that is how the horses win their races, right? So when there is a regulation, you have a blinker, कि bus, my full goal is only this. I have to move in this path only. And regulations are to regulate us so that we don't fall outside our line or outside our arena of, Krishna consciousness. And that is why these regulations are there. So it means that their inspiration to serve and surrender is not dependent on the regulative principles in scriptures because it comes automatically from their own spontaneous affection for Lord Krishna. Now, somebody might question that then what about us? So, अभी तक तो हमारे पास रागानुगा भक्ति है ही नहीं. We are still on very sadhana bhakti only. We are not on raganuga bhakti. Of course, I'm talking about myself. Maybe somebody is there, a raganuga bhakta, but he's not trying to show he's a raganuga bhakta. So, in raganuga bhakti, their inspiration is there that spontaneously. It doesn't mean that, oh, only after reading scriptures I will get the inspiration, the desire to serve Krishna. Let me read Bhagavad Gita. Let me read Bhagavatam. Now they are above all these, inspiration and all. And because now they are tuned only in such a way that I want to live only for Krishna. My existence is only depending on pleasing Krishna. If slight, deviation, 1 degree deviation also of my desire, then finish. Then, you come back to this earth, again become a Raganuga Bhakta. That way. So, it is very spontaneous, right? Srila Prabhupada translates the full Bhakti-rasāmṛta text in the CC Madhya. When an advanced realized devotee hears about the affairs of the devotees of Vrindavan in the mellows of Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, he becomes inclined in one of these ways and his intelligence becomes attracted. Indeed, he begins to covet that particular type of devotion. When such covetousness is awakened, one's intelligence no longer depends on the instruction of the Shastras or on logic and argument. Taddad bhavadi madhurye shrute dhir yad apekshite natra shastram na yuktim cha tal labhotpati lakshanam. So, He's saying there's three practices of spontaneous devotion. One is Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, that is there. First is remembrance. In Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, there are three practices that you're remembering. Remembering Krishna with a particular devotee. You remember Krishna with Mother Yashoda. You remember Krishna with the gopis. You remember Krishna with the gopas. So you're remembering Krishna. When you're doing Shravanam also, when you're doing Shravana, you have a 70 picture in front of you, right? The clear picture is there. That okay, now Krishna is on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and he is with Arjuna. And, he's riding the horses. The other day, I was reading something of the Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield, and really I had tears. But then later on, I just completely forgot what that instance was. Also, you have these posts coming, on your WhatsApp. Somebody had put a post, um, and yeah, the post was that in the battlefield of the Kurukshetra, right, where Krishna was the chauffeur or the chariot driver of Arjuna. And wherever Arjuna was needed, Krishna took him in those places in the battlefield. Like, yahan pe zarurat hai, if he is needed here, immediately Krishna, very proactively, he takes. Here Arjuna is required. Here the army has gone weak. Now let a strong person come over here. Here, some relative of Arjuna is going to be killed. Let me take him over here and defend that particular relative. So Krishna was so proactive uh, in that battlefield that though Krishna was not fighting the war, but so intelligently Krishna drove Arjuna's chariot wherever Arjuna was required. And this is Krishna's magnanimity. इसकी उदारता यही है कि he is not dependent on Arjuna's commands. Very he's so intelligent that very smartly he's turning Arjuna's chariot towards different directions wherever Arjuna was required over there. Of course, at many places Arjuna also, as I previously mentioned, that Arjuna also used to guide Krishna that now you take left and now you take right and you go straight or you take a U-turn. And because in that war there is so much of chaos and yelling and crying and all these things are happening in that war. So there is a lot of noise, commotion. So you can't hear, the voice at a very short distance also. And Arjuna, if he wanted to move left, so he used to kick on Krishna's left bump. So Krishna knows, okay, now I have to take left. And if Arjuna wanted to go right, then he used to kick on Krishna's right bump. And then Krishna used to know, okay. And if he wanted to go straight, then on his back, he used to kick Krishna on the back, right? And that's how Krishna knew you have to go straight. But apart from that, Krishna is also so very intelligent, supremely intelligent, you can say, that he knew wherever I have to take Krishna. So, though Krishna did not fight the war, he actually fought the war with his intelligence. So, remembering Krishna with a particular devotee. This is one example I gave, that you remember Krishna. So, we can remember Krishna with Arjuna, we can remember Krishna with the gopis, with Radharani, with Mother Yashoda, with Subal Sakha, with Madhumangal, with the monkeys, with Yamuna. We can remember, Krishna with a particular devotee. The devotee should always think of Krishna within himself and should choose a very dear devotee who is a servitor of Krishna in Vrindavan. One should constantly engage in topics about that servitor and his loving relationship with Krishna. And one should live in Vrindavan. Okay. One should live in Vrindavan, physically living in Vrindavan. Okay. He's talking about. If one is physically unable to go to Vrindavan, then he should mentally live there. So see, you are where your mind is, right? This proverb really applies over here. That you are sitting over here just now. If I go to, if I want to remember Vrindavan, I can sit in Pune also and remember Vrindavan, right? So one of my mother's friends, she was telling Vrindavan elastic ki tarah. Elastic means, no, stretchable. Vrindavan is very stretchable. So if you want to bring Vrindavan in Pune, you can easily bring Vrindavan in Pune also. Or with your mind, you can travel in to Vrindavan also. So we should, sitting in our respective cities or countries, we can still remember Krishna. Remembrance. All sadhakas practice remembering Lord Krishna, but the spontaneous sadhaka practices remembering Lord Krishna with a particular devotee. The Raganuga Bhakta, see, all sadhakas, those who are, new, those who are practicing, those who have just come, they're remembering Krishna. But this Raganuga Bhakta or Raganuga Sadhana Bhakta, he's practicing remembering Krishna with a particular devotee. It can be anybody. It can be Radharani, it can be gopis, it can be Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Gopas, the cows, anybody it could be. The specific devotee, one one remembers. Okay, so see, if I am remembering a specific devotee of Krishna with him, depends on which relationship one aspires for. If somebody is aspiring for Vatsalya Ras, then he will meditate on Mother Yashoda, remembering. If somebody is aspiring for, becoming the father of Krishna, then he meditates on Nanda Maharaj. If somebody is aspiring, you know, uh, for becoming Gopi, then actually she'll remember the gopis, what gopis want to, the highest. To constantly remember Lord Krishna and his eternal devotees, one should take shelter of Vrindavan by living there physically and mentally. Living there physically and with your mind also. Sometimes we go to Vrindavan, okay, at least, those who are staying near Delhi, Kurukshetra, Chandigarh, and all, for them, Vrindavan is very nearby. Okay, Noida, Gurgaon, and all these places. So for them, it's very easy to travel to Vrindavan. But if I am in Vrindavan and I'm thinking about my home in Pune or Bombay, then I'm not in Vrindavan, right? So I'm in Pune only. You are where your mind is. So this is actually what he's trying to say, that living there physically, if you cannot live there physically, then mentally raho aap. While we are chanting, we can remember Krishna, the gopis, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, whatever relation you are aspiring for, right? It means if one is physically unable to go to Vrindavan, he should mentally live there. Day in and day out, whenever we are chanting, whenever we are making bhoga, or we are doing any activity, we should think we are doing it for Radha Sham Sundar only. That's it. Remembering through internal and external service. The advanced devotee is inclined to spontaneous loving service should follow the activities of a particular associate of Krishna in Vrindavan. He should execute service externally as a regulative devotee as well as internally from his self-realized position. Thus, he should perform devotional service both externally and internally. See, externally we are following the regulative principles, right? And we are regulating our life. But internally, फिर हम क्या करेंगे? All the time, we are thinking of Krishna and that particular devotee's relationship. Krishna and Mother Yashoda, Krishna and Gopas, Krishna and Gopis. All the time, both should be there while we are remembering. Internally meditate and mentally follow the activities of their Siddha form. So see, internally you're meditating, that I want to serve Krishna in the mood of Mother Yashoda. Now Krishna, it's time for Krishna's milk time, or it is now time to put him to bed. Oh, he's fallen down. Now let me, put some medicine to him. You're meditating. Externally, physically follow the activities of their sadhaka form. How they chanted, how they ate, how they slept, how they preached, etc. So, how did Mother Yashoda, wake up Krishna? The same way you wake up Krishna. How did Mother Yashoda feed Krishna? How did the gopis live in separation from Krishna? What is their bhava? All these. And be aware of surges and reject the misinterpretation of Siddha Pranali. Oh, this is very important. This Siddha Pranali, yeah, I'll discuss maybe in the next class. Just remind me of this Siddha Pranali. Okay, there's a whole new concept, which of course is not a new concept, it's an old concept, but it has been turned and twisted. Siddha Pranali is a process of initiation where one is given details of a particular Manjari form to be used for internal meditation in the practice of Raganuga Bhakti. Like Srila Prabhupada note that this is often given to those who have not yet underdone Anartha Nivritti and whose external behavior is not at all according to the regulative principles. Therefore, he strongly rejected this Siddha Pranali. See, imagine that my relationship with Krishna is an internal relationship with Krishna, right? Now, externally, I don't need to show off that, oh, I'm a gopi, I'm a manjari, and I wear, what do you say, being in a male's body, then I start wearing uh, ghagra choli or dupatta and all these things, right? And Siddha Pranali in, okay, I think I should explain this. Maybe I'll just take 5 to 10 minutes more. Our class will extend. Siddha Pranali means what? That Siddha, आपका सिद्ध देह क्या है? And you will follow. Pranali means to follow, है ना? So, some guru will give initiation where he will tell you that you are a peacock in the spiritual world, है ना? Or you are a manjari in the spiritual world, and now you meditate on this particular manjari, right? So you said over here, Siddha Pranali is a process of initiation where one is given details of a particular manjari form to be used for internal meditation in the practice of Raganuga Bhakti. But now internal meditation on a particular manjari form, right? But right now I have not even crossed the Anartha Nivritti stage. I'm still on Anartha Nivritti stage, and prematurely, if I'm giving you this particular form, okay, or telling you that, okay, you please meditate on this form, you won't be able to do it, right? For example, if I tell that, a mother who's pregnant now, fifth month now, we want a child. At fifth month, she can't give birth to a child. There is a natural process of 9 months, and in the 10th month, the child is out. It's a natural process. That is why, if some child is born in the 8th month or the 7th month, what we say, premature child. He has not matured. So now, prematurely, if you're going to give this, there will be complications in his consciousness. He's going to become bewildered. He's going to become confused. And artificially, you cannot invoke, such feelings for Krishna in that particular form. If I tell somebody today, oh, I'll catch somebody, okay, chal, you are Manjari in the spiritual world. But अभी तक वो लायक ही नहीं है. Layak means what? She's not qualified only to meditate herself as a Manjari in the spiritual world, or meditate on the Manjari form also. Like, say, example, that There's a Rupa Manjari, like, we are Rupa Ganugas, and there is a Rupa Manjari in the spiritual world. She is actually assisting Lalita Sakhi, Vishaka Sakhi, and Srimati Radharani, right? Now, when Rupa Manjari is assisting Srimati Radharani and Lalita and Vishaka Sakhi, all these three things, and I am trying to meditate on Rupa Manjari, right? Because I want to be the servant of Rupa Manjari in the spiritual world. बट अभी तक मेरे पास वो क्वालिफिकेशन ही नहीं आया हुआ है. आई एम सो मच विथ माई मटीरियल कंटैमिनेशन, काम, क्रोध, मद, मोह, लोभ, ना. Even if you give me and if you tell me verbally also, I won't be able to understand or fathom that mood of that Manjari, of Rupa Manjari, what mood she has. So uh, now we want to develop a relationship with Krishna. We are trying to take help of those eternal associates, but prematurely we can't, meditate. Because abhi tak, what am I meditating on? Oh wow, that sari is so beautiful. I wish I had that sari. Oh wow, that jewelry on Radharani's neck looks so beautiful. I wish even I had that necklace. This is prematurity. Premature. So हम समझ ही नहीं पाएंगे. So अभी तक we are not even done with our anartha nivrittis, and our external behavior is not at all according to the regulative principles also, right? So then Prabhupada has rejected this Siddha Pranali. Now I will give you many examples of, I can tell you many examples of so many people who took Siddha Pranali, what happened to them. So prematurely Siddha Pranali mantra was given to them, right? In Vrindavan, this all बहुत सारा होते रहता है. Because all these Babajis who give Siddha Pranali are in Vrindavan only, and they are specifically near Radha Kund only. So there is a case in Bombay. This person was a very, very good preacher. In a week, he used to take 21 programs, means in a day, 3 programs, and a highly knowledgeable person. And he was such an influencer that in house program, only there were 2 to 300 people sitting, like this to hear him. And all of a sudden, he takes people to Vrindavan trip. He takes this group of people to Vrindavan trip, and he meets this so-called Babaji. And that Babaji somehow or the other, with that black magic, he, turns his, उसका मन घुमा देता है. And that particular person, he though went only, Siddha Pranali, I am a cow in the spiritual world and all that drama. And he took with him 400, 500 people, already who were initiated devotees, you know, he took with them. It was a big turmoil. He not only took Mumbai people, he took Pune people also. And then what happened? Dhongi Guru, Dhongi Chela, Nark mein Thelam Thela. He rejected his own spiritual master, who is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. And when you reject the spiritual master, is such a disgrace, such a disgrace to your own self. He rejected his pure spiritual master, who is serving Srila Prabhupada to his highest extent. He took Siddha Pranali mantra from that so-called Babaji Maharaj. And that person right now, he is nowhere. Na ghar ka, na ghat ka. And he's not even chanting. He's not even taking the names of the Lord. He's nowhere at the moment. Another instance. In Delhi, there was a very nice preacher, a very young Gen Z preacher he was in those days. I'm talking about 2010 or 12. Okay. And this particular person was very smart looking, a very handsome, looking person, not married. And by his classes, he had attracted many young girls and young women also, married women also. And when his spiritual master used to give classes, he used to schedule his own classes that same timing. So in his spiritual master's lecture, if there are 300-400 people sitting in his lecture, there are 1,000 people sitting. Imagine. This is the way he used to schedule. Means what, he was competing his spiritual master. And then he thought that I am greater than my spiritual master, because by the time he had been inflicted by this Babaji Maharaj so much that he thought that I am very greater than my spiritual master. And then that Babaji Maharaj, whoever it is, I still don't know the name, he gave him that Siddha Pranali mantra, and then he gave him sannyas also. So he did not go through the, uh, uh, brahmachari training or any other training, and straight he became a sannyasi. And after becoming a sannyasi, what exactly happened? Because the Siddha Pranali says you just meditate. But how will you meditate? On what will you meditate? Will you meditate on the stones? Will you meditate on the walls? Will you meditate on what will you meditate on? You can't artificially meditate. There is a process for meditating. And when you clear that process, then you start meditating on the form of the Lord. I'm sorry, actually, I'm just becoming too aggressive on this point, but it was a big insult to my own spiritual master, and that's why actually internally मुझे बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है. So sorry, but I'm very sorry for that. But what will we meditate on? Prematurely, when we have not even overcome our own anarthas also. So that person, again, he also took away so many young girls and, young married girls also, ladies also. And uh, then to revive the consciousness of those girls was a big task for me also, because I was being given the seva of, reviving them again and bringing them somehow or the other back onto this Gaudiya line, or back to into Prabhupada's, mood and mission and all. It was so much of a turmoil, because not only their mental state, but their physical state, दोनों हिल चुके थे, they're completely disturbed. Then so much of pampering, so much of compassion, so much of shastric examples, and so much of time investment, energy investment ke baad, we could just, I could get only, because even I have my limitations, right? I could just get a handful of people inside back again. Jo gaye wo gaye, and now they're nowhere. They are neither here again, back to material life they are. And they lost that faith. They lost that faith in this process. So that is why this Siddha Pranali is completely rejected process. So these are only two examples where I was personally involved. That's why I'm actually mentioning. Performing activities of sadhana. The spontaneous practitioner does not reject the 64 items of Vaidhi sadhana. He continues to practice them, focusing on the practices most conducive to his specific mood of services. Srila Rupa Goswami says that learned acharyas recommend that we follow the regulative principles even after the development of spontaneous love for Krishna. One should specifically engage himself in the type of devotional service for which he has a natural aptitude. In this way, everyone should act according to his particular taste. Example, he does not abandon hearing and chanting, but focuses on hearing and chanting topics that specifically nourish his particular service mood. Like if he is in that mood of serving Mother Yashoda, then he will hear more of the Bala Leelas of the Lord. If he is in a friendship mood with Krishna, then he will hear more of Krishna's friendship with his Gopas that way. Okay. The two categories of spontaneous devotional practice is Raganuga, Sadhana Bhakti, and Kamanuga, that is conjugal love, and Sambandhan Anuga. Sambandhan Anuga means what? that particular sambandha either in Vatsalya or in Sakhyaras. So Kamanuga is what? Conjugal love. One who aspires to attain perfect spontaneous devotion in conjugal love, that Kama Rupa, is called Kamanuga. There are two modes of service in conjugal affection. One is Sambhoga, Ichhamai, means direct service to Lord Krishna in conjugal affection. And Tat Tat Bhava Ichhatmika, means indirect by serving the devotees who serve Lord Krishna in conjugal affection. Like say these the gopis, no, they are in conjugal affection with Krishna. So indirectly the manjaris are actually assisting the gopis. Then in manjaris also there are many categories, or in the gopis also there are many categories, and that's how indirectly you serve Krishna. But still Krishna reciprocates with you in that indirect service also, like he glances over you, or he will move his eyes in a very lusty way towards that particular manjari who has served indirectly to Krishna, because Krishna is he knows everything, sarva vyapi, omnipresent, uh, what do you say, omnipresence or omniscient. He knows everything, past, present, future. So he will interact with that particular manjari in that particular bhav, indirectly, but not directly, that way. Eligibility, then what is there? One must have an intense desire, Lord Krishna, one must have an intense desire to serve Lord Krishna in the conjugal mood, as discussed in chapter 15. To nourish the intensely pure desire required for this type of devotional service, the advanced devotee worships Shri Shri Radha Krishna deities and hears the Lord's conjugal pastimes. Now, if I want to worship, if I want to serve Radha and Krishna, then I should be worshipping those deities also. So Radha Krishna service is very much compulsory then for me. Because तभी प्रेम जागृत, आप जिनकी सेवा करोगे उसके प्रति आपकी रुचि बढ़ेगी एंड सेवा भावना भी बढ़ेगी. This development of conjugal love can be possible only with those who already engage in following the regulative principles of devotional service, specifically in the worship of Radha and Krishna in the temple. Such devotees gradually develop a spontaneous love for the deity, and by hearing the Lord's exchange of loving affairs with the gopis, they gradually become attracted to these pastimes. Are males eligible? Yes. The sages, the rishis of Dandakaranya are evidence that this type of service attitude can also develop in males. Padma Purana and, Mahakurma Purana are, giving this evidence. This development of conjugal love for Krishna is not manifested in women only. The material body has nothing to do with spiritual loving affairs. A woman may develop an attitude for becoming a friend of Krishna. And similarly, a man may develop the feature of becoming a gopi in Vrindavan, but not artificially. You cannot say that I will tomorrow wear lenga and choli and dupatta and I will start moving, like a gopi in Vrindavan. That no. Internally, हमको internalize करना है कि I am a gopi, I will become a gopi in Vrindavan if I start serving in such a mode. Two types of conjugal love. One is parakiya and one is swakiya. So this madhurya ras is, So one is the perfected, those who are not, those who have not got married. Okay. Perfected in the gopis of Vrindavan to associate with the gopis and enjoy loving affairs with Krishna. And swakiya. Those who are even, married. So like the queens or Dwarka, so that is Swakiya. Those who married Krishna and those who did not marry Krishna, that way. Sambandhanuga, so now we saw about conjugal love, that is Kamanuga. And Sambandhanuga means parenthood or friendship, one who aspires to attain the service mood of a parent, friend, or servant. Sambandha Rupa is called Sambandhanuga. So two types of aspirations are there. One is like direct aspiration, that aspiration for direct parenthood or friendship with Lord Krishna, and aspiration for service and appreciation of Lord Krishna's parents and friends. Follow them and cherish their ideal. So you want to, follow in their footsteps. Like Indirectly means to be an assistant of some Gopa, to be an assistant of some Gopi, or to be an assistant of Nanda Maharaj, that way. In the development of becoming either the friend or friend of the Lord, there are two varieties. One method is that one may try to become the father of the Lord directly, and on the other hand, is that one may follow Nanda Maharaj and cherish the ideal of being Krishna's father, indirectly. Direct parental relationship is discouraged. In desiring to directly become the father of Lord Krishna, one may inadvertently develop the desire to become Nanda Maharaj himself. This is Mayavadic and offensive. You can't become Nanda Maharaj. You can't become Mother Yashoda because these are fixed uh, posts and positions, right? They're not flexible. No, like how we have demigods and all, they're not fixed. But these designations are fixed over there. If you try to utter, then it is Mayavadi and it is very offensive also to Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda that way. Okay. So next we will see 17th and 18th. I'll just stop here for the day. If somebody has any, doubts, queries, questions, you all can definitely ask me. See, this I'm reading from Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu, okay, about this Kamanuga Bhakti. So, the Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, which exhibits an eagerness to follow the Kama Rupa Ragatmika Bhakti of the Siddha Bhaktas, is called Kamanuga Bhakti. Kamanuga Bhakti is of two types: Sambhog Ichamai and Taddad Bhava Ichatma. Now, Sambhog means what? It is directly giving, enjoyment to Krishna. And uh, Tattad Bhava Ichatmika means desiring to, in the sweet mood or bhava madhurya kamatmika, in a particular mood of the gopi, without directly, giving that conjugal enjoyment to Krishna. This is the chief type of Kamanuga Bhakti. So, so what is the qualification for Kamanuga Bhakti? To develop longing for the bhava of the gopis after seeing the sweetness in the deity forms of Radha and Krishna and the gopis, or after hearing about Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, even men can attain this bhakti. What is the intention now? Actually, behind this is the intention is to show that in the act of seeing, the assistance of hearing is also necessary. Without hearing, there will be no manifestation of their basic forms and pastimes. Hearing about Krishna and the gopis, even without seeing, is also effective, right? And now, see, when you say Kamanuga, Anugami, Gamini, means only to follow, or actually, it's not to imitate, but it is to follow in the footsteps. One should follow the gopis by accepting their sentiments. It does not mean one should do everything they do. The gopis may do Surya Puja, but Raganuga devotees should not do it. The gopis may not follow Ekadashi Vrat, but the devotees will follow it. Today is Ekadashi, today is Yogini Ekadashi, right? Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī also observed Ekadashi. The principle is that we follow Vrajavasis like Rūpa Manjari in Siddha Deha. But in Sadhaka Deha, we must follow the counterpart. That is, Vrajavasis like Rūpa Gosvāmī. So, okay. Now the question might arise is, if a Vedis Bhakta desires an enormous relationship with Krishna, but but not like that of the gopis, he or she will attain in future, not as quickly as Raganuga, the position of a queen of Krishna in Dwarka. Means what? Those who have a desire to taste the sweetness of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, but they are worshipping according to Vedi Bhakti, They do not attain Krishna in Dwarka because they do not have that aspiration. Nor can they attain Radha Krishna in Vrindavan also, the place of pure sweetness, because they did not follow the Raga Marga, right? Since they follow Vedi Marga and have a predominance of awareness of Krishna as the Lord, Aishwarya Gyan, they attain Radha Krishna in a portion of Vrindavan called Aishwarya Goloka, the place where Krishna resides with majesty. Krishna showed Aishwarya Golok planet to the gopis after Nanda Maharaj was kidnapped by Varuna's assistant. Krishna did this in order to illustrate the special sweetness of Vrindavan to them. Sometimes Aishwarya Golok is also called as Vaikuntha. Krishna does not have a planet of Vaikuntha with Krishna doesn't have a planet of Vaikuntha with Lakshmi. It is always with the gopis. So one is Gokula versus Goloka. Mathura has two parts, Gokula and the city of Mathura. Gokula is known for its pure supreme sweetness, and Gokula has a majestic part called Goloka. Gokula is greater than Goloka. This is actually written in Madhu Bhagavatamrita. Even a Raganuga Bhakta, when he follows the limbs unfavorable to his aspired bhava, like Dwarka Dhyana Rukmini Puja alongside, then he will go to Dwarka to become the queen of Krishna. So, example is the saintly sons of Agni perform Vedi Bhakti and achieve the bodies of women and attained Lord Vasudev as their husband and not lover. It is written in the Mahakurma. And then what is Sambandhanuga Bhakti? Because we saw Kamanuga Bhakti, now Sambandhanuga Bhakti. Practicing devotees greedy for parental, friendly or servant relationship perform this bhakti with indications of the behavior and mood of Nanda, Subala and others. So what is the offense? The offense is thinking oneself to be Nanda or Subala is offensive. But following Nanda or Subala and cherishing the idea of being Krishna's father or friend is desirable. है ना? Following in the footsteps. Just as worshipping the Lord thinking that one is identical with him is not proper. Similarly, worshipping his associates while thinking that one is identical to them is not proper. I am the servant of Nanda Maharaj. I am the servant of Subala. I am the servant of Lalita Sakhi, Vishaka Sakhi. That way. Okay. One will commit offense to the associates of the Lord by thinking of occupying their identities. This is similar to Mayavad and by which one simply goes to hell. Such thought process is hostile to the Vrajavasis since one competes with them. Bhakti is service which is to be performed with the Sadhaka Rupa and a Siddha Rupa by the Sadhaka. Therefore, the mood and actions of Subala, Nanda and others have been described in the Bhagavatam so that the devotee can perform similar service mentally in one's Siddha Deha and in Sadhaka Deha one follows Guru's directions. Like there is an example over here given that there was an old carpenter in Hastinapur who worshipped the deity form of Krishna as his son. Following the footsteps of Nanda Maharaj and the instruction of Narada Muni, he performed physical service in his sadhaka deha. Thinking that the deity was directly Krishna, he thus attained the perfection of having Krishna as his son. He attained the perfection of being a cowherd in Vraja, having Krishna as his son, just like Krishna became son to all the elderly Gopas during the Brahma Vimohan Leela. Very deep subject matter है, समझ में आया ना आपको कि okay, Krishna as my son I worshipped all my life. So yes, in the spiritual world also Krishna will be your son, when Brahma Vimohan Leela happens. King Prabhakar had no son. He did not desire one because he thought that was his karma. Thinking of Krishna as his son, he installed him with Abhisheka as the king. He did not pray for a son, but the Lord himself became his son. Socho. So, in another stava, he says, I pay my respects repeatedly to those who constantly and eagerly meditate upon the Lord as their husband, son, well-wisher, brother, father, or friend. Surid is one who acts for our benefit unconditionally. Surid sarva bhutana. है ना? Maitra is one with whom one engages in play. So, what is the cause of Raganuga? The cause of Raganuga Bhakti is attaining the mercy of Krishna and his pure devotees. Some call this type of devotion as Pushti Margi, given by the followers of Vallabhacharya. Pushti means to nourish. Such development of sentiments nourishes devotional service to the highest standard. So it is called the path of nourishment or Pushti Marga. Generally, devotees in Gujarat worship Balakrishna following the Pushti Margi. Like I remember, uh, we have one Laddu Gopal, which is almost, you can say, 120 or 25 years old. And my mother's, it came in that. And then my mother actually, when she got married, she bought that particular Laddu Gopal in her house, and now we are worshipping that Laddu Gopal, which is 120 years old. But the if you see the features and all, they're very sharp features as such. So, Pushti Margi means what? They take care of, Laddu Gopal as their own child. So, right from waking him up to giving him food, to giving him clothes, to giving him toys, to giving him, butter, buttermilk, everything they will take care. And they will not offer even spicy food to the child. They will offer non-spicy food to the child so that he does not start crying that way. Okay. Anybody has any question, doubts, queries, you're gonna ask me. Okay, if there are no questions, we'll just stop for the day. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.